global tyranny run by corporations that are exempt from the laws they put on us. I mean, this is a hellish future they're creating. I mean, hundreds of thousands of drones globally, 30,000 domestically, with energy weapons and nerve gas flying around. I mean, with our money. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and I was looking on the website of one of the arms companies, and its slogan practically was bringing biometrics to the battlefield. Don't let's forget, in the list of things I just gave, don't forget the high-tech stuff that we were talking about earlier. That's absolutely crucial. And, something like...
the technocracy is there. It's what's going to control the drones, the robots, the spying, the automation, where just everything we buy in the future globally is standardized to be a Trojan horse control system.
Yeah, and I don't want. I'm going to put my little tinfoil hat on at this point and leave facts behind. But you see your smartphone there, which it's just basically a bugging device. That is just getting closer and closer to being in your arm.
No, they've said that, but no, let's stop. Yeah. They're telling the military chips are coming. Yeah. And then your kids are going to want it because it's going to. You can't play, Bing Boing or whatever the new game's going to be if you don't have it. But look, meeting you 4 years ago or talking to you on the phone, I just met you in person the first time today. You're a satire writer, comedy writer, very successful in your own right. The Guardian sends you, you're kind of joking around, but then you see the police state. And now to talk to you, it's extremely sophisticated. You figured it all out exactly from what we've researched, and you're going beyond that. And really, that's when you find the global elite and not the facade, you begin to find reality, is what I'm trying to say. I mean, is that an accurate statement, or how has this transformed your worldview once you started going down the rabbit hole?
Well, one thing I'd say is that I've spoken to a lot of different people who, on this subject, what we're talking about here broadly, and everyone ends up singing the same song, and that's what I find extraordinary. You can talk to someone from Switzerland or Brussels. Anyone who's kind of got it ends up with the same basic structure of what's going on, and I think it's the right one. I think that
it is.
And I listen to what you talk about, show after show, and I think you're right. That's the horror.
Well, it is horror. No, I get globalist.
Alan Watt is a good example. His stuff. He's right. No wonder you get depressed listening to Alan Watt. But he's basically right.
And it's so horrible because exactly all the time new globalist documents, Rockefeller Foundation about sterilant and vaccines and stuff. We get these, confirm they're real. And it's not like, oh, I've proven they're building re-education camps. It's very sad. It's like, wow, it was actually worse than I thought.
Yeah, and I remember when I remember you telling me the first. This is how weird this was. I was on the phone to you, live on the show, whilst in Greece, just up the road from Bilderberg, being followed around at night by two Greek, later found out secret policemen. Scared out of my mind. You on the other end of the phone saying, you've gone down the rabbit hole now. And I was just thinking, my God, I really have. My world is melting before my eyes as I'm... it was scary stuff.
Well, no, when they call up and say, I was just listening to you, we're going to kill all of you. I heard you talking to your daddy. When they do that, you're like, wow, the government's listening to my phone and threatening me. I mean, they really are criminals. And you realize they want to get their tyranny complete before the public's really brushed up against it. Because let me tell you, that's when you get your wake-up call.
Yeah, I mean, the number of people that I speak to about this, though, sophisticated people who work in the media, and you talk about, for example, the surveillance stuff, and they go, well, I've got nothing to hide. Look at me. What do I do? They can check. They can read my emails. They can look. Yeah, fine. Yeah, welcome to East Germany.
So first, it wasn't happening. Now, let it. The point is they're using the data against you. They're using it to predict the future. They're using it to enslave you. I mean, why not live in a glass house then? Hey, I want to go to the toilet in privacy. Why not? Why not let us see you go to the toilet? What are you hiding in your bathroom?
We take
in
a
bed
lot
with your
for
wife.
granted. Lights, water, even food.
One love.
And Charlie Skelton and I were having this conversation about the Russian novel, written about 100 years ago, called We, about glass houses and a total dystopia, no families, no nothing. That is this eugenics endgame, this total war against humanity program. And we're talking about the fact that the national security state says everything we do is secret, but everything you do is public, and it's a sacrament that you're patriotic to worship endless wars, total surveillance. It's a joke. But as the economy is sucked away, people are waking up out of their trance. Charlie Skelton from The Guardian comments on that and tell us any other tidbits that are coming up in the next few days, what you expect to see with the big protests that really start kicking off a little early, it looks like this evening. I mean, people are flooding in, and Bilderberg's not happy.
Yeah, well, on the subject of the the glass houses we were just saying. I mean, it's extraordinary the amount of every single politician, particularly, I'm sure elsewhere, but in Britain, they keep talking about transparency, transparency, transparency. Even someone like Kenneth Clarke, who's on the steering committee of Bilderberg. Yeah, transparency is wonderful. It's the cure-all of this and that. And it's, and transparency is for us. Yeah, we're transparent. We're the ones that live in the glass houses. We're in the middle of this massive data gathering experiment, which is the internet. All we ever do is give our data. With our phones, with our bank cards, etc. We're just we're just outputting data all the time. And then when we try and do a bit of data gathering on Bilderberg, it's like, oh, whoop, here comes the machine gun.
But imagine the mental mindset of this woman to walk up to people that work there and people and go, "We have machine guns." I mean, my instinct's like, hey, I'm not afraid of you, and I wasn't talking about violence, but you better get the hell out of my face. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like, these tyrants they really want to have a bunch of drones to scare us, and they're announcing it, but I think all it's doing is waking people up, Charlie.
Yeah, well, you're saying people are waking up. I mean, let's talk Occupy Bilderberg, which is, I think, an astonishing meme. I don't know what you call it, but seeing the words Occupy and Bilderberg together, it's like the people like you have re-co-opted the Occupy movement and said, well, no, do you know what, we're going to take it in our direction now. And, you look around Britain.
Yeah, it's not left or right, it's freedom.
Yeah, and it's, Occupy the Fed or Occupy, Monsanto. And it's like suddenly it's got some teeth, Occupy, and it's great. And I've been involved in Occupy London, and it was very heartening to see the Economics Working Group, which sounds incredibly Leninist, but anyway, the Economics Working Group putting out a press release saying, you know what, we're worried that an ex-Goldman Sachs managing director is being manoeuvred to possibly take over at the Bank of England. And, that's the Occupy movement really with its head on, going, okay, we see the problem
Exactly.
here.
The globalists may have created a lot of these groups. We can just take them away from them. Yeah. The truth is the establishment doesn't have all the power. If we believe they have it and stand down, they win. But if we just go, it's not about labels, it's not about names. We want freedom, we want privacy, we want transparency, we're done.
Yeah, and it's terribly, terribly important if any of your viewers or listeners are half, three-quarters thinking about getting down here, then come, because it's incredibly important.
That's right. This is history. Get over here, even if it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever day you need to be here, or whatever you can do, get to Chantilly, Virginia. This is going to be history-making, and it all kicks off at around noon to 1 o'clock is when they're going to start arriving tomorrow. And we're going to be out there at the gates, and it's going to be big.
Well, they'll bring the ones that really don't want to get seen will come in tonight. 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Well, you're right. In fact, everybody needs to be out at the airport at the...
There's a jet center out there as well.
Yeah, it's the jet center at Dulles, Washington. It's the Dulles airport, and absolutely everybody go out there. And if the cops come over, go, hey, we've already talked to the Fairfax police. We're media covering the political conference. I mean, if you had 130 top movie stars meeting in secret, there'd be 8 helicopters in the air right now trying to film it. But it's like, you're weird because you want to know what the politicians are doing.
Yeah, I know. Why can't they have a right to meet in private? They have a right to secrecy. And you know what? No, they don't. When it's elected officials meeting under these circumstances.
Logan Act, and I know England has similar laws. The UK does.
Yeah, it's just, obviously, politicians have private meetings. That's fine. But there's something about the nature of this meeting and its length. It's 3 days. Last year, the Chancellor of the Exchequer of Britain went for 3 days in his official capacity with a Treasury official alongside him. It's probably the biggest event in his calendar. A 3-day event. They've all got their diaries to coincide, and yet nothing said about it in the media. Not a word. He doesn't report. And again,
he's meeting with other banking heads and corporate heads to create policy, which is illegal. And now we've got NATO saying they're going to command our military in the UN, and then they admit that's their agenda. I mean, this is a corporate takeover. Charlie, we're so designed for a foreign enemy. This is a corporate takeover. Charlie Skelton, give us your private website as well.
Oh, I don't really have one.
It's just Guardian? Go there.
Yeah, Guardian. Just go to the Guardian, you'll see it.
All right, thank you so much, buddy.
We're on the march. The empire's on.
The world is in the middle of the greatest transformation human civilization and society has ever witnessed. It's at light speed. Technology is generally neutral and empowers humanity, but it has been twisted to be a system of dehumanization and control and social engineering. And at the very top of that pyramid power structure is the Bilderberg Group. Are there other smaller meetings that take place where the globalists are engaging in insider deals? Undoubtedly. But these people are coming in, destroying our sovereignty and building on its ashes a nightmare system. I want to take your phone calls, but I cannot stress to you enough, we're going to have continued breaking news as humanity, not just Americans, but humanity confront and demand that the corporate collaborator New World Order media cover Bilderberg 2012. This is a big deal because they've denied it existed. They denied anything's going on, go back to sleep. And the fact that this is just one little window where we poke holes in the electronic Berlin Wall and the sunlight comes in, and then more and more comes in, and all of us poke holes in it, it will collapse. So I want to thank all the guests that have been on today, Mark Anderson, Jim Tucker, of course, Charlie Skelton, always very interesting here in studio with us on the road. We're going to have live feeds tonight with Jim Tucker at a press meeting we're going to have with him. We're going to have live feeds out on the road. There's a lot going on. I want you to have your own live feeds as you go into the Westfields Marriott. It's not completely closed yet, but they won't let you check in. They're throwing people out. They'll get in your face. But I think as citizens, you know, there's not signs saying don't go in there. I'm calling for a press mob. Call the corporate prostitute media and say, I thought this didn't exist. Do you know they're putting fences up over there? Again, they want to just have their big NATO stuff where their puppets are there and they crack people over the heads and train everybody for a police state and have drones in the sky. They don't want the real criminals behind closed doors. They have a few speeches that are given, but mainly it's elites getting together in little impromptu groups and organizing, you know, their quid pro quo criminal activities. And just amazing on-the-street video feeds with the police being ordered to throw us out this morning and so much more. If you go to Infowars.com, all you do is click on the right-hand side. It's in green. You see home, Alex Jones Radio Show, news, multimedia, forum, store, contact, top stories, breaking news in red, search, and Bilderberg 2012. You know, now that I think about it, I told the crew make that green, but it kind of comes out looking weird. It's almost yellow. We might as well just go yellow with it or make it a little bit deeper green. I know I said new leaf green, but that's more like a sickly green. It doesn't matter. It's on the right-hand side in the toolbar, Infowars.com. It's also on Prisonplanet.com. And again, the crew's doing a fabulous job. I'm just always multitasking here on the road. You pretty much, it's like, what's that Jim Carrey movie where he's always on camera? The Truman Show. This is like the Alex Jones Show. I guess that's what it's called. It is actually the Alex Jones Show. I like to call it Infowars Live. Remember when I started my syndication back with Genesis in about 1998 or so, and I'd already done some phone shows over shortwave, but I was actually getting up on the satellites, getting syndicated immediately, sort of getting picked up. And I said, well, what are we going to call it? Are we going to call it Infowars? No, it needs to be Alex Jones Show, because for ratings, stations, you know, have the Arbitron, your name's got to be said a lot. And I'm like, I don't like saying my name all the time. Because that's the few tips I got in radio. And they go, look, you got to get the ratings, and they got to recognize your name, buddy. Please take our advice. That was one of the few things that, I mean, I already knew that from radio, being on a few years locally, that you got to say the name of the station, say your name and all that. But that's why it's been the Alex Jones Show. But really, it's just Infowars Live. But, okay, technically, for our AM and FM affiliates, we'll call the show Alex Jones Live. That's what we're now calling it at Prisonplanet.tv. The 3-hour daytime radio show, Alex Jones Live. Alex Jones Live. Infowars Nightly News. That's up there, 7 o'clock every evening, Prisonplanet.tv. And all of this is funded by you. The TSA grope-free old bus we've got that's just a beaut and awesome, that's thanks to you. To travel around America as the TSA checkpoints get set up. And by the way, the reports are pouring in. Drones everywhere, TSA checkpoints on highways, rock concerts, high school football games, and they're coming in, and the police take orders from them. And these non-bonded, non-sworn, they're not even police. They're not even feds out of their jurisdiction. It's just these TSA inspectors command everyone, and they grope you. And now they say they're going to be at the malls. I mean, this is hellish. This is our country. This is not safety. This is horrible. And who's creating the standardized tyranny? They're doing it everywhere the globalists control. The Bilderberg scum. These are the filth. These are the enemy. These people are the problem. They're the bad guys. And we need to identify them. There's a reason they want to hide. The real power wants to hide.
Bringing biometrics to the battlefield. You know, don't let's forget, in the list of things I just gave, don't forget the high-tech stuff that we were talking about earlier. That's absolutely crucial. And, something like...
the technocracy is there. It's what's going to control the drones, the robots, the spying, the automation, where just everything we buy in the future globally is standardized to be a Trojan horse control system.
Yeah, and I don't want. I'm going to put my little tinfoil hat on at this point and leave facts behind. But you see your smartphone there, which, it's just basically a bugging device. That is just getting closer and closer to being in your arm.
No, they've said that, but no, let's stop.
Yeah.
They're telling the military chips are coming.
Yeah.
And then your kids are going to want it because it's going to. You can't play, Bing Boing or whatever the new game's going to be if you don't have it. But that, and really, that's when you find the global elite and not the facade. You begin to find reality. Is what I'm trying to say. I mean, is that an accurate statement, or how has this transformed your worldview once you started going down the rabbit hole?
Well, one thing I'd say is that I've spoken to a lot of different people who on this subject, and what we're talking about here broadly, and everyone ends up singing the same song, and that's what I find extraordinary.
But look, meeting you 4 years ago, or talking to you on the phone, I just met you in person the first time today. You're a satire writer, comedy writer, very successful in your own right. The Guardian sends you, you're kind of joking around, but then you see the police state. And now to talk to you, it's extremely sophisticated. You figured it all out exactly from what we've researched, and you're going beyond global tyranny run by corporations that are exempt from the laws they put on us. I mean, this is a hellish future they're creating. I mean, hundreds of thousands of drones globally, 30,000 domestically, with energy weapons and nerve gas flying around. I mean, with our money. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and I was looking on the website of one of the arms companies, and its slogan practically was